So today I'm coming at you with yet another tag video, which is, as you can tell from the title, the top 10 influential books tag. The original rule of this tag is that you're not supposed to talk about why these books are influential, but screw the rules, I'm going to talk about them. The first book that I'm going to mention is really a whole series of books, and that's the Babiesitters Club. These are the first books that I remember really loving. In the first or second grade, it is all that I read. I was obsessed. I had a lot of the extra fun books, like the one that was all letters to and from different girls. I had the computer game, I had the trivia book, I had it all. The second book, I don't know the title or the author or when it was published, but it's a book that I read as a kid about a girl who lives in a black and white world, and then one day she finds a paint set, and it seems like it was under a tree trunk, and it's like a magical paint set, and she paints the whole world with these paints. Her whole city and just everything down to the grass and rosy cheeks of babies, and that's really all I remember, but I really loved it, and as a kid who loved art, it really impacted me. For number 3, I chose the MixedUp Files of Basil E. Frankenweiler. As I said, for book number 1, all I read was the Babiesitters Club, and then in the 4th grade, my teacher noticed that I was not reading as high as my reading ability, and so she gave me this book to read, and that was the dawn of a new era for me. From the 4th book I'm going to mention, also a book I discovered in the 4th grade, that same teacher read us as a class Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is really the only one that doesn't need an explanation on why it was so influential. But in 4th grade, it was my first year at a new school in a new city, and I really related to Harry encountering his new world. For the 5th influential book, I chose Wuthering Heights. This is another one that I've talked a lot about. I read this over the summer before my first year of AP English in high school, and I fell in love with the book and the story and its characters. I have since seen many movie adaptations and written several essays about it, even through my last year of college. For book number 6, I chose Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, which, as you probably know, is the last book in the series. And this book came out the year after I graduated high school. So being the last book in the story of Harry Potter's school years, it was also very fitting, and I just literally grew up with this series, and it has been the most influential series of books in my life ever, and might be for the rest of my life. For book number 7, I chose Into the Wild. This is one that I read in college, and it really stuck with me like no other book has. It didn't make me actually go out into the wild myself and start living on the land, but it just brought forth how much I hate capitalism and I hate money, even though I love to have it just like anybody else. For book number 8, I chose Paper Towns by John Green. I think this book just really speaks to John's whole philosophy of thinking about people complexly, which is something that I am always trying to do. And as the first new John Green book that came out after I started watching the Vlog Brothers videos, it also just represents how big a part of my life the Nerdfighter community and nerdiness in general is. For number 9, I chose A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius. This is another one of those books that really stuck with me after I read it and made me go out and buy 4 more of Dave Eggers' books that I haven't read yet, but I'll get to that. And before I tell you about the 10th book on my list, I just want to say that this list is definitely still growing and adjusting, and it's not going to be the list that is the final list when I die and have read all the books that I'm going to have read in my life. So number 10 was the hardest one to figure out. But I chose The Signature of All Things by Elizabeth Gilbert. This is one of the very recent books that I read, and I did absolutely love it, and it stayed with me, and I loved it so much. And this book is about the meaning of life, and it's just really beautiful, and I just love it so much. So those are the top 10 influential books of my life so far. If you haven't done this tag, you definitely should, because it is really interesting, and especially since not all of these books are always favorite books Some might be favorites from the past but not anymore. I'm sure it's different with every person, and doing this video has made me really excited to go out and read all the books that will become influential books later on. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.